Please listen carefully.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first of hopefully many more Hypothetical Siblings podcast. My name is Nick. This is my sister.
My name is Lainey.
And this is a thing that we're going to do because quarantine is a son of a bitch. And boredom is high, an all-time high for boredom, I think, right now.
All-time high.
All-time high. Hopefully, this is the highest it will be. Yeah, man, quarantine's raw. You can talk over me. Just bowl my ass over. I don't care. We're just got to talk about things.
But you know what? Even though the boredom's at an all-time high, could bring some great stuff out of it.
Have you found that the boredom for you has, given you any more creative drive or anything like that? Or maybe not drive, but, inspiration that you're like, I just need to make something?
You know what? At first, I really thought that it would do that. And then it did quite the opposite of it. Because I do like to paint and draw and etc. Art, crafts.
Make lizards out of beads.
Make lizards out of bead most recently. But no, it's totally sapped me of all of my creativity. So all I do is nothing. At first, I did some Animal Crossing paintings for friends and for no reason because that's what's happening in the world right now.
Animal Crossing is what's happening. Fuck all that virus shit.
Yeah.
We have Animal Crossing.
Corona doesn't matter as long as we got Animal Crossing.
There's no Corona where Tom Nook is. There's none.
I'm gonna marry Tom Nook.
That's reasonable. He's probably extremely wealthy. I don't know about that body.
I looked up his net worth. They said something like 7 million bells or something.
How does one... So, to be honest with all of you listening, neither of us has... Have you ever played an Animal Crossing game?
Except if you count the shitty Pocket Camp phone version,
that's
then
a thing.
No.
I mean, that's basically the game, but they just monetize the shit out of it because mobile. That's what mobile does.
Right.
But I think that's still relatively comparable because that's the only one. I've played other ones, but never consistently. I've tried them, like the old GameCube one. I tried a long time ago, and it was never really for me. But I feel like the ability to take it on the Switch and either have it with you or just be able to be a vegetable at home, because that's what's happening right now, and just do super nothing. Yep. It's a lot more feasible than it usually is.
Yep. Also, it's so many people are into it right now. Mm-hmm. Like this one, I just saw a tweet today. Mm-hmm. Elijah Wood visited somebody's Animal Crossing camp.
Elijah Wood. More relevant than ever in the zeitgeist. Now paying visits to people's Animal Crossing islands.
And it was for something like turnips. I don't know how the game really works.
So I know you can grow flowers and vegetables and things, but there's also some sort of... And I only understand this in the most cursory way, but there is some kind of turnip-based economy where turnips are extremely relevant to the stock market for some reason. And so there's rooms of people's houses where they have just filled it with turnips in the hopes that turnips will increase in price and then they will be able to sell it for a huge profit. But everything I've seen is turnips. There are other fruits and vegetables and things, but for some reason turnips are the ones that are the moneymaker.
The only one that I've been seeing is tarantulas.
Tarantulas are, yes, the other thing.
Which is such a good meme because they talk about just bringing a bag full of tarantulas into wherever Tom Nook and his nephews
Timmy and Tommy. Well, it's have you seen the memes where it's about Timmy and Tommy buying 70 sacks of tarantulas and wasting your fortune and shit like that?
Yeah, and Tom Nook comes home and his place is just fucking filled with tarantulas.
Now, when the economy is tarantula based rather than turnip based, then again will Tom Nook rise to the top of the bourgeoisie.
Oh my god. Fuck. I could never do what Tom Nook does. What a hero.
And he really is.
And he's having problems with his wife. Have you seen that?
No.
Apparently he talks to the phone on her and is like, no, please don't leave me. And like, I guess I don't know if it's true, but.
Well, so Timmy and Tommy are his nephews though, right? They're not his children?
Yeah. Question mark? Yeah.
All right. For sure. I was under the impression that they were his nephews, but maybe it's like they're my nephews. Like he says that, so there aren't questions about his life, you know?
Yeah.
He doesn't want to talk about the Karen that is his wife.
Yeah.
That would steal his children.
Yeah.
Yeah. How this is kind of going to work is that at the beginning of every podcast, maybe we'll just talk about random shit like turnip-based economies. But we are also going to talk about things that happened during our week. Now, especially during these relatively uncertain times, where we just talked about everything being boring and nothing happening. This might be a shorter segment than usual, or maybe not be as exciting. But it could also be the opposite, in that our relative insanity grows and makes our lives more interesting, or at least more interesting for the listening pleasure of the individuals that may listen to this.
Yeah, everything is completely unpredictable at the moment, so even though there will for sure be weeks where we have done nothing but consume reruns through streaming platforms, but there also could be some fantastic weird stories that otherwise would not have occurred because of quarantine. Mm-hmm. So very dicey.
So for your week, would you like to go first, or you want me to take the hypothetical baton?
Take the hypothetical baton.
Excellent. We should have, being as this is the hypothetical siblings, I feel like everything that we refer to as hypothetical, we now need to have an actual object that is that object. So we need an actual stick that is the hypothetical baton.
I could so make a stick right now.
just like produce one from thin air?
You know what?
Or are you talking like growing the tree to produce the stick?
I'm talking about getting a stick. I don't know where. I'll get it. I'll be able to make a fucking bomb stick that we can use as our hypothetical baton. And if in the future we have guests of some sort,
I assume we will. Maybe our claim to internet fame, when surely we are on top of the podcasting charts? Is that?
Sure.
When we are on top of the podcasting charts, perhaps one day things, not people, things. I would much rather have a thing as a guest on the podcast than a person.
Fucking me too.
But not like the Fantastic Four one, more like the Swamp one.
Yeah, no. The Fantastic Four one really frightens me, and also I think our house might give out under his weight.
I don't know. I feel like there's support, at least in the room that we're in now.
Yeah, that's fair.
He just can't go. There are no patios for the thing.
No patios.
He exclusively lives in one-story houses.
Yeah. Because
he could live in those, like, the concrete modern houses that we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Yeah, he learned the mistake the hard way, though, because he was going on, like, house hunting kind of things with realtors, and he found this awesome 2-story, and they start to go upstairs, and he gets into, like, the hallway and just falls straight through the floor.
I know you've never seen Breaking Bad, but that just gave me vivid memory of, like, person soup dissolving through the floor and just all over a hallway, but it's just the thing, and it's just like rocks.
Person soup?
Well, yeah, when you kill the guy, you can't just bury a body, so you have to melt him down into person soup, and then you just pour him down the drain.
I don't know about you, but I'm not a witch.
Well, you don't eat it. It's not for consumption.
But witches, I just feel like that's a very witch thing to do, is make person soup, whether you eat it or not.
But what do you do with the person soup? Like, what is the purpose of making it if not to consume it? Because the witch doesn't care if she's hiding the body.
Yeah, because she already lives out of BFE, so.
Yeah, true.
But you know what? People are organic things. Could you help your garden grow?
Yeah. Well, because is it better to turn them into soup at that point and, like, melt them down, or do you want to leave it kind of chunky?
Right.
Like blend them as opposed to soup them,
Right. Well, and do you take the bones out?
No. Because I feel like calcium is good for plants.
Yeah.
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 Like, as all great life lessons, we take it from Minecraft. where we turn bones into bone meal and use them to grow our plants and produce trees at a faster rate to build our mansions.
You know what? I used to go in creative mode exclusively and build floating mansions solely out of colored wool because I like to make it rainbow.
See, I like the direction you're taking, but then the wool just becomes soggy and you live in the sog house that is just constantly damp and dripping and just is becoming nothing.
Sog house.
Sog house.
Sog house.
That's the dream.
I also was like breeding stuff in there because I liked almost glitching out the game. So whether it be like villagers or whatever,
okay. You can't breed people. The Sog House has a background of eugenics, ensuring only the highest quality villagers.
And they couldn't get out because it was floating.
Their existence is trapped in the Sog House, forcing themselves to suck moisture from the walls. Well, because here's the problem. Is it ocean-based? Because you said it was a water-based wool mansion. Is this the ocean or is it like a lake? Because if it's an ocean, I feel like you run into problems of the wall moisture being salt water. And then you aren't able to get the moisture you need, let alone the food. I mean, I guess if there's enough villagers, you just kind of have to cannibalize, right? But then at that point, you're just breeding wendigos, you know? So...
it's a lake type thing because I'm afraid of the ocean, and in Minecraft I feel like it makes me slightly existential.
The Minecraft ocean gives you an existential crisis?
Yes.
Excellent.
But now that I'm thinking about it, if the moisture in the Sog House was salt water, would the salt crystallize and make it like crystal wool Sog House?
I feel like it would, because you've seen stuff on like the ocean before, or that is near the ocean, how they get kind of the salt like from the spray. But I don't feel like the crystals are large at that point, and because they're not, well, I guess the size doesn't have to do anything, but they're not clear enough to let the color through properly. You know. What
if I put lights behind it?
Lights in the side. So I like this idea, but what is your plan? So is this electricity? Because if so, where does it come from?
Well, I haven't played Minecraft in a while, truth be told. But in my mind, I was thinking, you have the wool. Seeped through it is the salt water.
Yes.
But then you have a layer on the outside that has like lights in it. Like pool lights almost. Okay. Because like every block, right? So every block has a light behind it. Yeah. So your house is kind of fortified, but also it's like turns that light on, right? Shines through the wool, shines through the crystals. Rainbow crystal Sog House.
Rainbow crystal Sog House. So the pool lights are inside the wool? Or are they outside the wool? Because I feel like what you're going for is inside, and then it shines through.
Well, how thick is wool?
As thick as you want it. It's your Sog House.
But like, is one block of Minecraft wool, are you able to shine a light through that and the light comes through? Because
there are the only lights in Minecraft, at least in vanilla, as far as I'm aware, are torches.
Sog House on fire.
But it's the Sog House, so it can't catch fire. Because the wool is soggy. Yeah. But then, so I still feel like the fire is not bright enough to shine through wet wool. You know?
So then it's lost. So then it's not going to work.
What? But I mean, if this is like, because this is a Minecraft wool house, but I'm also thinking of the real life Sog House. You know?
Me too.
So if you can use like extra bright like car headlight LEDs, I feel like you could get through.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's what I'm thinking. That's what I was thinking of, because same, it's like a Minecraft Sog House, but you're kind of blending it with reality, because it's not going to work in reality, but it's not going to work in Minecraft either.
I mean, it already has worked in Minecraft, yes.
I mean,
There's no LED car headlights in Minecraft.
Right.
Gonna have to mod that shit in.
That's more what I was talking about. There's no LED car headlights to really make the Sog house shine.
Yeah. But yeah, and then you have the lights on the inside that are blocking the moisture walls from the sucking lips of the villagers trying to survive. So,
I think they're fine.
They're probably fine.
They're probably fine.
They're Wendigos anyway, so they don't really need to drink. They just need to consume the flesh of other villagers.
Right, as long as I keep providing them with villagers.
Correct.
No problem.
But moving on to my week that we're supposed to be talking about. Yeah, so again, really not doing a lot. I found myself doing more outdoor activities, just around the house, not necessarily going and doing things. One of which was clearing out a garden bed in front of my house, which a while since I've done any gardening like that. Not really a lot to write home about. I had to use a pickaxe to clear out some of the roots and stuff in there. I'm probably going to plant some type of flower. I've been talking to my roommates about it. But probably going to be some type of kind of sturdy, low maintenance type thing. Very simple to take care of because I am lazy, even when not locked inside my house because of quarantine. Beyond that, at the start of the week, I went shooting with my girlfriend and her family. Really fun, good to get outside, and easy to stay a fair distance from everyone and kind of keep yourselves healthy at the same time. Between our own family and her family, those are the only people that I've been seeing. So not a whole lot to risk there. It was the first time that my girlfriend had actually ever shot any kind of gun. And she was unable to hit anything that was sitting remotely still. But the second that we started throwing targets, then she was able to nail one on the first shot, much to the chagrin of everyone else. But of course, that's how it goes with beginner's luck and everything like that.
Right. Yeah, the first time I tried a water sport, last summer I went with one of my friends up to a lake and we were kneeboarding, wakeboarding, that kind of stuff. But I have little to no experience with that kind of stuff. And so she was like, here, kneeboard. And I was like, okay, but fair warning, I've never done it before. I went for it. I was up for minutes. Mm-hmm. Just the first time. And I was like doing one hand and like motions with my body, like surfing.
Motions with her body.
I don't know what to call it.
Belly dancing. Laney was just
sitting there, belly dancing. No. And then I couldn't get up like the rest of the time. Or I could, but then lost balance and face planted into the water. But at least it was on video. Got that.
That's important.
Yeah.
That things are on video. Or at least everyone seems to think so. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is. Like, the one thing... Yeah. I was going to say something, but might as well just continue with the week at this point. Besides that, been kind of a power week. I don't know if any of you listening have the same, or Lainey, I don't know if you have this same kind of phenomenon happen where you'll be sitting and being extra lazy, as we're all want to do with, quarantine and sitting at home, everything like that. And then all of a sudden you kind of just get a hair up your ass and you're like, we're turning it around, boys. We're going to do it this time. Right. And so for the next anywhere from 24 to like 72 hours, you just take care of everything that needs doing. You do your laundry, you clean yourself up, you do the dishes, you organize a bunch of shit, and you're like, my life is on track. I'm currently in the middle of one of those and have been way more productive than I have been usually. Excuse me. But it's good, and this feels like one of those times that it's feasible to maintain that, so that's been really good. But other than that, I did watch a show that I wanted to talk about briefly, only because it's very hard to have a conversation. I mentioned this to you, Lainey, earlier, this show that I watched, Midnight Gospel, which is a Netflix original that just came out relatively recently. And what it is, without really spoiling it, although it's not really a show that you can spoil unless you have some, giga mind that you can remember everything that's said in the show. It has an animation style that is like... The art style is very similar to like an Adventure Time sort of situation, but the animation is... Sorry about that, folks. Had something come up there, so we're recording a little bit later on. What I was saying about Midnight Gospel, though, is that the animation style is... it's a 2D animation, but it's kind of purposefully clunky. Almost stop motion in a way. It's very unique. It's very hard to have something to compare it to. Though the reason that it feels like you should watch the show is not because of the animation or even what is happening in the show necessarily. The actual content of the show is almost more or less it is a podcast that has visuals given to it. From what I can tell, I haven't looked anything up about it, but from what I can tell, it sounds like the conversation between the characters is an actual conversation between, real life people. Like, it feels like it's an actual talk show, podcast, whatever you want to call it, that is happening. And after watching the first couple of episodes, I mean, the actual conversations are really interesting to listen to. But I could see someone writing off the animation as kind of, like the Adult Swim, like...
Robot Chicken-ish?
No, not Robot Chicken. It's like, the Adult Swim, like, in-between episodes where it's the weird kind of, like, psychedelic art where it's coming and forming together and lots of bright colors and things like that. It's kind of like that. I mean, it is really... There's a lot of love and the animation is quality, but it's just kind of... nonsense, it feels like, that goes on in the background while they talk,
Right, totally.
So, but that pretty much does it for my week in isolation. How about your own?
My week has been rather uneventful.
As is the way of things.
Yes, currently. I have socially distanced over and over again. And I have hung out with a couple of friends, but abiding by social distancing, which, gotta say, not quite the same. You
can't be within 6. You got the fucking pool cue. Have you read 5 Feet Apart or seen 5 Feet Apart?
Nah, I can't deal with that emotionally.
That's reasonable. There's a whole thing where, because they have to maintain that distance, they want to be as close as they can while maintaining the distance. So they have a pool cue that they hold between each other. So I can just imagine you and your friends holding pool cues out like fucking guns, like a Mexican standoff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not as exciting as it is, though. We just kind of skirt around each other. But, what's kind of sad is I think that the most exciting thing to happen to me this week is that I've broken 2 Snapple bottles.
Yeah, I was there for the second one, but I don't know how violent the first one was. The second one was violent as shit. I didn't see anything happen, so it could have been that it slipped out of your hand, but my headcanon is that you just spiked it into the floor out of rage.
Well, that's what I said afterwards, was I subconsciously spiked it out of onto the floor out of rage.
That you have also decided that even though you know what happened, you're like, nah, it was violence.
Yeah, I just kind of dropped it, but maybe there was something else behind it. The first one was just crazy chance, throwing a rock up in the air and it smashed down onto it because I was trying to aim so I could catch it again and then failed.
So when you say you're underhanding it to yourself, but you fucked up the underhand so badly that you exploded a nearby Snapple bottle.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. Did you not look? Were you just tossing it in your hand?
Yeah. It was a really round rock, so I enjoyed it. And then I lost it after it bounced off the Snapple bottle as it just shattered
it left a field of broken glass to cover its tracks.
Yeah.
The escape of a rock.
Yeah. But that's pretty much my week. I mean, I've given up on doing almost anything productive, so...
I mean, school is still a thing.
Is it?
I mean, it is a thing. Whether or not we choose to participate in it, it still exists.
That's true. Okay, well, seeing as my week has been extremely uneventful, let's just talk about the next portion, which is what this show is supposed to be about.
Yeah, so kind of our main topic every week. I mean, until we get 3 episodes into this and just find a better format or decide to talk about different things or just continue to create Sog House mythologies and things like that. But what it is supposed to be about, the reason that it's called Hypothetical Siblings, is that every week we are going to talk about a different hypothetical. This particular week, we're going to talk about something that I think interests both of us, and I would argue that it's interesting to most people, whether or not they believe in it or not.
Yeah.
But it involves cryptozoology. For those of you who don't know, cryptozoology is, zoology, so study of
like animals,
life,
sure.
Animals, things. But the crypto is those animals or creatures, I guess, that may or may not actually exist.
Right.
Your Bigfoots, your Loch Ness monsters, your chupacabras, etc. Now, we found a map not too long ago that is a map of the United States where we do live. Sorry for those of you in other countries who aren't going to have your favorite Beelzebub mentioned because we don't know what the hell it is. But we have a map of the United States, and in each of the states or in points of interest, it is marked all these various cryptids, these pseudo semi-mythological animals. And what we're going to talk about is if they rose up in their respective states, if they decided that they're coming out of the mythological proverbial closet to come and take over your state, what state or what chance your state would have.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon the phone, folks. Now, obviously, we can only talk about our state, being as we're siblings that are from the same state. But we're also going to look at this map and talk about a couple of the other, states that we see and the power level of these monsters.
Yes.
As it stands. Now, what are you going to say?
I was just going to say, so we're in Nevada, so it could be argued that we have a couple of different cryptids in our state, one of which you may have heard of. Tahoe Tessie is a little bit more famous, and it's basically the Loch Ness Monster, but in our local
Lake Tahoe.
And
people know Lake Tahoe, don't they?
Yeah, but maybe more California. I feel like we don't get credit for it.
Yeah, people. I mean, so for those of you who don't know, Lake Tahoe is this very large lake. I feel like it's relatively popular, but obviously since it's local, that we have no bearing on it. I know that there's a bunch of rich people that fly into town just for Lake Tahoe, and so the Lake Tahoe is this alpine lake that is large and deep and very blue and super beautiful. And at some point, someone just decided that there is a Loch Ness Monster in there.
Yeah.
To be fair, isn't it like 2,000 feet deep?
It's huge. I have no clue how deep.
I know it's thousands, but I don't remember. I know there's a 2 involved, I think. So I don't know if it's 2,000. 20,000 seems like a lot.
Yeah, I think that. Well, but I mean, I have no.
Because how far is a mile? Isn't it like 1,500
feet?
Yeah.
It's 5,000. It's like the 5,272.
Oh, where it's like there's the mnemonic device that you
Weird.
can. Yeah.
Sure, I don't know. But the point is that it's deep enough to where there could be something in there.
I don't know anything about Loch Ness. That could be like a puddle for all I know.
Yeah, true.
So I don't know how deep that is.
Well, and if it's a cryptid, I mean, I feel like it's got to have some kind of...
As a cave?
Yeah.
The hiding cave in the bottom of Loch Ness / Lake Tahoe. So, obviously, if Tessie decides to rise up against the man, the main disadvantage is that you are water-based.
Right. But the thing is, if it rises up, I mean...
Are you implying that it's evolving legs with which to carry out this war?
Well, I feel like it could get onto land a little bit, but...
That has a long neck. So what's that, like between flopping onto land and the long neck?
But all we have to do is not go in the lake. Although, you know what though? Enough people here are going to be like, yeah, let's go get our shotguns and just try and blow it away.
Well, on the Nevada side of things.
Yeah. The Nevada
but if
side.
it chooses, because I guess if it's in the middle, and we're going to play this fairly, we have lived in California before, and being as we are relatively close to it, I feel like we know things about California and can speak for them. They do have many less guns, or many fewer guns, than the great redneck state that is Nevada. So depending on which side of the lake Tessie decides to take the war to, they will have... Is Tessie... Are we gendering the dinosaur?
No, we shouldn't.
Just Tessie. That's a relatively gender-neutral name.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah, also, doesn't it just describe it? Or is that a name?
Tessie what? Like tessellated? Tessie the tessellated plesiosaur? Like, what do you mean describe it?
I don't know. I kind of thought it was a thing, not a name. I'm just... I'm sorry. So, Tahoe Tessie. Low chance. Out of 10, I give it like a 3. I was going to give it a 3.
Because...
Yeah. It would definitely kill some people.
Well, yeah, because all the stupid... Like, you've seen... those of you online may have seen, too, videos of folks swimming on a beach and a bear just comes down and is also swimming, but further down the beach, and the people just, like, walk up to the bear and are taking pictures because cute bear in water. That happened in Tahoe. I've seen a couple of those, and I recognized the place that it was happening. So it would get a couple of those. Okay. Like, I feel like all I had to do was, like, rock up, and people would get close enough that it could eat a few. How large is a plesiosaur?
Why would I know that?
I don't know. Here's the thing. When I ask people questions like that, just using the internet here to look up how large a plesiosaur is, because that's what I do in my life now. I ask people questions because I know random bullshit facts. And so I feel like it's not out of this realm for other people to know. Like, I feel that, like, there are more than a couple people that I could ask that, and they'd be like, "Oh, fucking 13 meters." Like,
sure, but people's bullshit facts are not often in the same realm.
That's true.
Your bullshit facts are going to be way different than whatever my bullshit.
Oh my god, I actually spelled plesiosaur right on the first time. Okay, so it turns out plesiosaurs are 3.5 meters, which is 11 feet.
That's not as big as I thought.
That is, like, fitting in the room that we are currently in.
Yeah, like that one movie with that kid who raises that thing in his bathtub.
The water horse.
Yeah.
Does that take place in Scotland? Is that the Loch Ness Monster?
I don't know. But
is that even
I feel like the Loch Ness Monster is bigger than Tahoe Tessie for sure. I mean, I don't know why.
If it's the same creature.
Oh, they're brothers.
Separated at birth? Like, what?
Yeah, it's Parent Trap.
Parent Trap, but with plesiosaurs that may or may not actually exist.
Yeah. Okay, so we're defeating Tahoe Tessie.
Tahoe Tessie is defeated. But the issue with its defeat is not our ability to kill it. We could kill Tahoe Tessie. It's the Viet Cong game that Tessie would play of, like, poking in, grabbing, like, 2 people, and then disappearing into the 1,000 feet of water.
Well, yeah, but this is more about how well we do against it. And I feel...
Like in an arena? Like a Pokemon arena?
No,
but they're like, here's a shotgun.
In general. No, just in general. I think that we would be fine.
So when you say we, we're talking state,
As a state.
Okay, yeah. Because long and short of it, we could probably get a submarine.
Well, and there wouldn't be that much damage. It's very contained. Same with water babies, which is our other... state cryptid. Yeah,
which is over in Pyramid Lake. Water babies are... Is there an origin? Are they supernatural? Or is it like one of those things where it's like there's a dead baby and now it's a water baby?
Yeah, I thought it was like a ghosty type situation.
Really? I didn't think they were ghosts. I thought they were...
Told. Not ghost in like the actual sense, I guess.
Not origin of water baptism. Not that. Water babies.
All I was told is that if I fell off the boat, I would get dragged under by water babies.
Mysterious and dangerous water spirits from the folklore of California and other Western Native American tribes.
Oh yeah, tribes. Yeah, I've heard that.
The form of beautiful human infants. So they're beautiful babies.
Beautiful babies, like
with
cherubs.
Fishtails.
So they're mermaid babies.
They're mermaid babies that are beautiful.
Probably like a siren situation.
So if they're the size, yes, but if they're the size of an infant, that's like, because what's a baby on average, like 8 pounds?
Yeah.
I feel like that's relatively heavy. I mean, that's smaller than our parents' smallest dog.
Right.
You know?
Because he's 12 pounds.
He is 12 pounds.
But the fact is that there's, I don't know if you'd call it a swarm, but I want to.
Like, how many is a swarm?
I feel like just if you go in the water, all of them come after you.
But what is all of, like, how many are we talking? Like, how many water babies exist in Pyramid Lake?
I don't think you can count them. They're spirits.
Like infinitesimal?
Yeah, like it's kind of like I can't grab it. I feel like I couldn't be able to grab it. I feel like you'd have to find the origin of them. That's some like old book, you know?
Why a book?
With
I feel like
spell in it.
Nah, because if it's underwater, it's gonna be like a big fuck off crystal or something. Like it's not gonna be like a man-made thing.
Yeah, so you have to go after the crystal to destroy the crystal to get the babies. So I think you do a lot worse.
Is it the eradication of the creature, or is it you fight the one? No, because you're right. Because if they're rising up, it's all of them.
Right.
Which I'm gonna say, based off the size of pyramid and the relative size of an infant, that I'm gonna say there's like probably around, if not more than 300.
Yeah, that's fair.
And is it when you kill a water baby, like you just blast that bitch? How long is the respawn timer on a water baby?
Right, because it's a spirit, right? So you're saying that if you like shoot it or something, it has to like take time to recuperate. Yeah. Well, it's a baby, and I feel like babies are weak, so it'll take longer than a normal spirit.
But I feel like because they're not babies, they're just the shape of babies. They're spirits. They don't function off of biology.
I don't know, man.
How hard can a ghost pull you?
Pretty well. There's lots of little ones, so they might be easier to subdue, but there's a lot of them.
Like Grindylows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Harry Potter too.
Yeah.
I think we'd lose way more to water babies than Tessie.
True, because would the origin is the origin the lake, or is it like this crystal that we have just come up with?
Well, they say so. I've heard that they're related to native tribes as well.
Okay.
I don't know where. I've heard that.
Okay.
But I feel like we'd have to do something along those lines to
like destroy some origin point of the spirits.
Yeah.
Yeah. So either we have to destroy the origin point, or they are related to the body of water, in which case we have to somehow destroy or drain Pyramid Lake.
Which is unfortunate, because lots of people enjoy going up there.
Well, yeah. I mean, and you want to talk another reason why a bunch of people just come to Nevada is for that.
Right, because it's salty.
Yeah. I mean, it's salt, but it's not salt. Like, it's not table salt. It's alkaline salt, which is different, but a lot more poisonous. But, you know.
So, I think I'm going to give them like a 5 out of 10. I low-key think we'd lose a lot of lives before we'd be able to get rid of them.
So, we haven't really established the scale of what is a 1 and what is a 10. Is a 1 like just a single regular human? And a 10 is like Godzilla?
Sure, that's good. Yeah, do that. No, what's the evil one in Godzilla?
King Ghidorah?
Yeah, we can't trash on King Godzilla like that.
Yeah, King Godzilla. Lainey and I are the most surface super fans of Godzilla. We went and saw the King of Monsters when it came out in theaters and had a blast of a time, because nothing will be ever as fun as just big dumb monsters. Maybe not as fun, as pure. You know? Yeah. There is a purity in just watching big dumb monster fight big dumb monster.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we don't care about the origin of him or the plot of the movies. It's much more about appreciating the beauty of the monsters and their combat skills. Yes?
The combat skills of giant lizards and pterodactyls and a moth.
Oh, I love Mothra.
Yeah.
I would die for
Queen.
Mothra.
Mothra's queen?
Yeah, Mothra's queen.
Correct. That being said, the combat skills of a moth are negligible. Not negligible.
She did pretty well.
Considering
what did she fight that?
Rodan.
Yeah, okay, Rodan.
Yeah.
I thought so, but I wasn't.
This is where all the weebs come after us for not pronouncing the names correctly.
Yeah. What's the other one? King Ghidorah?
King Ghidorah, Godzilla, Rodan. Mothra.
And that's it. The other ones are there.
Those were the only ones in that movie. There are other ones.
No, there was other ones in that movie.
Well, but they're at the end, and it's like, oh, look at all the monsters.
And they like bow down to King
Godzilla.
Godzilla.
I forgot that. Yeah, true. And then King Kong is also
in that universe, but
because they threw it out there. They're like, hey, Skull Island's got some bullshit going on.
Yeah.
Which
King Kong is incredible too. I love him.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
But,
he's also nice though.
Well, yeah.
He's nice. Well, Godzilla's not really.
Godzilla's nice.
Yeah, but not like Mothra is nice.
Yeah.
Like the scale of niceness, okay.
Like they almost were like BFFs with Mothra, but then the government ruined it. Or was that the government?
I don't know. Fucking science.
Some agency
the
came in.
humans are the least important part. I just want to watch a big dumb lizard punch another big dumb insert animal here.
With 3 heads.
Well, that's an alien. That's correct.
Yeah. So anyway.
So yeah,
One's human,
10 Godzilla.
Cool.
So water babies out of 10 is.
I said 5. You can vote your own.
5 is accurate. I feel like I'll give it a 6 just because of the challenge of actually eradicating them.
Especially if it's in the water.
Because it's in the water. Pyramid is pretty deep. Defeating a single water baby is like probably
like
a 1 or a 2.
Yeah.
Well, no, because it's an infant.
But if you say they respawn, because what if you like chuck it?
Is the defeating just getting it out of your way for the moment, or is it because you can't just chunk a piece off the crystal?
Right. Because
and now the one water baby is gone.
So in that case, it's like a 1 or a 2, maybe just a 2, because you might have to have the proper weaponry.
The aquatic advantage.
Yeah. So.
Cool. So water babies more dangerous than Tessie. Confirmed.
100% confirmed.
Something else in Nevada. Do aliens count?
I don't know what the definition of a cryptid is, but I feel like Area 51 doesn't count.
Okay.
Just because
aliens is also a question mark out of 10.
Right. Because
because
but it depends
they have
on
to
the species.
they have to at least have been smart enough to get here.
Yeah, what if they accidentally got here? Like, what if it's a meteor fell down, we harvested it?
And it was all full of
bullshit.
sentient goo.
Like Venom.
Like
Venom came on a meteor.
Venom, that's like a 8.
Venom's fucking, yeah.
Yeah, that's big.
That's big.
It's only a one little thing.
Yeah, because a whole ass SWAT team went after him, and he pretty much killed like everyone.
Because I was going to say, I've never seen the movie.
Oh.
I only know Venom from like what I've heard and seen in various comics and videos, other associated media, you know?
Yeah. My standard for movies is low, so I don't claim to be a film critic or anything, but I enjoyed Venom. I thought it was funny, and I like monster stuff, so that's cool.
Yeah. I thought it's interesting, because everything I've heard about the movie, obviously not having watched it, is that it is like a scary movie, like Venom is a scary entity, the symbiote? Symbiote?
I would say symbiote, but...
In the movie, I think they say symbiote, but I'm pretty sure it's symbiote. Yeah.
Tom Hardy.
This thing is a scary, threatening thing, and then it's like joking it up, like, haha, I'm gonna eat you.
Yeah, and he whispers...
then he eats you.
He whispers stuff in the guy's ear. I think his name's Eddie in the movie.
Yeah,
and
Eddie Brock.
He's like, eat that person. He's like, what? No, like, I'm not gonna eat that person. Also, have you seen the thing about how throughout that movie they made it seem like they had a romantic relationship? like people on the internet were posting about how like they had a thing the whole time.
Weird.
Yeah.
That feels narcissistic because the symbiote is part of you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could see where they're coming from. I don't believe it though.
Just like how Poe Dameron and Finn are super gay for each other.
Yeah, that's real.
That's real.
That's real. The Venom thing is like,
yeah.
Not really. Kind of. So.
What are we? Oh, yes.
Aliens
are not cryptos at all. So that's all that there is for Nevada. Let's look at our map here.
My favorite, and I know it's famous and it's a meme kind of, but I liked it before that, is is Mothman.
Are you telling me that you're a cryptozoologist indie fan? What's the one where it's like, I liked it before it was cool?
That's hipster.
Hipster, that's what I'm looking for, not indie fan.
No, I'm not claiming that Mothman was mine. I am behind the curve of liking him, so I'm like towards
Isn't
the
it
more
ahead
popular.
of the curve?
Well, see, here's the thing.
Okay, here's the thing.
I liked him as it was starting to gain traction.
So you're like the sub 200,000 followers, the OGs of Mothman.
Kind of. So like people knew about him and really liked him before me, and then I knew it, and then it got really popular. So I feel like I'm like in this weird space
You're in
where
like
it's
the
like
80th percentile.
Yeah.
You're on the very beginning of the curve.
Yeah. But he is not bad at all. I guess if he decided to attack, it would be rough. But the story is that he didn't hurt anybody, and he was trying to warn them of a tragedy that happened. It's a bridge collapse.
The bridge collapse, right.
Yeah, and so there was a bunch of sightings of him. The bridge collapsed, and he was gone.
Well, okay, because you could take that from the idea of that he is warning of the bridge collapse, or you could take that from the idea of he is the cause of the bridge collapse, right? Which, if we're taking it the direction that he is a malevolent entity in this situation, then he caused the bridge collapse.
That's true. If he rose up, then I think they'd still have it. Wait, where is he from? West Virginia, you said, right?
Mothman is a winged bipedal humanoid from Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
So I don't know what their manpower's looking like over there.
I mean, West Virginia, they got, is it kind of the South? I'm trying to look at the map right now. It's right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So not really.
Not really the South, but it's right near the Carolinas, and I know there's lots of guns there.
Right. Yeah, but
because wasn't West Virginia where all like the hooch running during the fucking prohibition shit?
I literally don't know. They do have a Mothman festival though.
Well, there you go. So he's real.
I think he's like a 6, like higher or at the same level as water babies.
So I feel that he is a singular entity. He theoretically, in this case, can be killed, right? But he's just a humanoid that is able to fly. So what we're basically talking about is like Hawk Girl. You know, Hawk Girl from the Justice League? Yeah. Literally just a lady with wings and a mace.
But he's scarier. I think that means he can get more victims. Because if you're just some chick, you got
a yellow suit.
Yeah, and you got wings. People are going to be like, that's kind of weird, but like I can put up some fists and fight. But Mothman, they said he's got red eyes. Yeah. He doesn't have a neck. He's got huge wings. Like, that's scary to me.
That's pretty spooky.
So I think that the fear would come in a lot because you're like, oh, what is that? And then it's like, some
swoops
scary.
Down from the forest to abduct you.
And you're paralyzed in fear and you die.
That's fair. So, ambush hunter can fly.
Probably
spooky.
Buff.
Probably buff. I feel like anyone who lives in the wild becomes buff. The gift of nature is muscles. Yeah, I'd put him at like about a water baby.
Yeah.
But I put a water baby at a 6 though because of the difficulty of the environment and the need to either drain a lake or locate and destroy a crystal.
Right, and there's so many of them.
To me, that makes me feel like Mothman, despite being scary, is a 5 because it's not drain a lake; it's hit that thing with a sword.
Blow that piece of junk out of the sky.
Correct, out of the sky.
Thank you, Kylo Ren.
Thank you, Kylo Ren. Adam Driver is the best Disney princess.
Yes. So Mothman is like dragon, but not impenetrable and smaller, and can't breathe fire.
That's true.
Same vibes.
Same vibes.
So yeah, okay, I'll give it a 5. I gave water babies a 5 too.
Yeah.
To be fair, but I think that's solid.
You think that's reasonable?
Yeah.
All right. How about the one that probably everyone listening to this will know, and probably the most infamous cryptid of North America, Bigfoot.
Bigfoot's Mothman without wings. I said it.
I don't think that's true. I think Bigfoot is larger than Mothman.
I think he's taller, but I think Mothman's really buff.
Why do you think Mothman is so buff?
Because he flies.
But I feel like because he flies with wings on his back. That doesn't make his body buff. That makes his, I guess, his traps. That's why he doesn't have a neck. His traps are so big that it just looks like he doesn't have a neck from flying. That's exactly what it is.
Genius.
Yeah. Besides, if he was buff and he was trying to prevent the bridge collapse, why would he not just fly down and be like, stop? You know?
Because that goes against everything that cryptids are.
Why
What if they have a society, Nick? They like meet every month and a Mothman tries to save the bridge from collapsing? Could you imagine the catastrophe?
There's like a culture. It's like some secret anim shit. Uh-huh. Alright, that's fair. But I still think that Bigfoot is larger. Or maybe he's just more muscular because of like the ape physique versus the moth physique.
Yeah, but also all the quote-unquote pictures that he has been in, he's not walking like an ape. He's walking like a man. Which makes me feel like he's not as buff. I feel like he's lean. I feel like he runs around the forest and eats bugs and is lean.
Why do you think he eats bugs? I always got the distinct feeling from Bigfoot that he's an omnivore.
Yeah.
Lots of berries and like squirrels. Yeah.
So he's a bear. So he's a bear.
I mean, a bear, though, that's at least a 3. You know? Like, out of person. Like, I don't know what a 2 is, but a bear is at least a 3.
2 is 1 water baby.
But why is 1 water... I still don't understand why 1 water baby is higher on the scale than a person. Like a fully grown adult man.
I think people are really dumb, and I'm sorry to say that.
Is it so are you putting the water baby higher because it's a spirit and you don't know if you like stab it if it will die, whereas you can stab a man and you're pretty sure he'll die?
Yeah. Well, and like a 1 is like a human, but it's also like a dog. And like stuff we know how to kill.
I'd way rather fight a human than a dog.
Well, yeah, but like I feel like there's similar damage that can be done. Can be. Because although dogs are super vicious, like that's part of it though. It's like we know how to kill it. Like if you shoot it, if you stab it,
the mystery elevates the water baby.
Yeah, because it's especially since it's like a little mermaid baby and a spirit.
Yeah.
That will try and kill you.
Okay, I see you.
Yeah.
I see you.
Thank you. So Bigfoot. I'm inclined to put at a 4. I feel like if you shoot him, he'll die.
True.
And
but
like
how many? Because if you shoot a bear, it will die. But the bear is still alive for long enough that you also die.
Right.
You know? I mean, assuming...
If you're saying a bear's a 3, though, Bigfoot's probably like a 4. Assuming it's bipedal. I feel like that does something.
And there's also the intelligence.
Right.
You know? And if you're in the forest, that the Bigfoot is most often seen for those of you listening at home, seen with big quotation marks. Can he like leap amongst the trees? Because there's kind of, because especially if he's lean, right? Then there's a reason he doesn't have all that weight on him.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I feel like he's fast, like faster than a bear. Because can't bears run at like 40 miles per hour top speed?
It's 30-40, which is fast.
Super fast. People can't run that fast.
Because what's the top? Isn't Usain Bolt? Isn't he top out at like 22 or something like that?
Sure.
Do you have a tissue in here somewhere? No, I'll just suffer. It's fine.
So I say Bigfoot's like a 4.
Because you're under the assumption that Mothman is just Bigfoot with wings, is what you said. Yeah. So that's why Mothman's a 5. So Bigfoot is a 4.
Except I also the place, I don't know. I'm sorry to those of you in West Point, Virginia, if there are any of you out there, but I feel like it's relatively...
West Point? No, it's West Virginia Point Pleasant. West Point is the Army College.
Oh, well.
I want to walk away and get bath tissue so I can fucking blow my nose. You keep talking to the people.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I don't know how Point Pleasant is. I called it fucking West Point. Which is just ridiculous. But I imagine it to be relatively flat space, which is why Mothman is able to soar around and scare people. Obviously, I have no clue. So if this is not the truth, I'm sorry, but I think that's why they're kind of even, Mothman, because he has the big flying open space, which you could probably shoot him down easier. Bigfoot Bigfoot has the forest.
We're also assuming that we have guns, or that the state has guns.
I mean, you're going to get some people.
That's true.
You're going to get at least some people.
Because even if they ought not to have them, the guns will show up. The guns will apparate.
Is there a town redneck everywhere? I kind of feel like you've got one.
That's true.
Always.
That's fair. There's always that one place where you're like, there's some hillbilly shit going on in that general direction.
Yeah. And if not hillbilly, I mean, it could be more like just cops. Cops have guns.
Cops have guns. Cops can fight Mothman.
There's probably a SWAT team to be dispatched. Boom.
A local militia to set against the Mothman menace.
So I'm giving Bigfoot
4 out of 10. All right.
A 4.
That's fair.
You could probably use the forest to your own advantage too.
To hide?
Yeah. I mean,
but I feel like his sense of he knows, not like his sense of smell. He knows.
I was gonna say, do you think he could smell you?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Well, from the rest of this list that we have, see, there's some of these that are like, that's a threat, like a thunderbird. Are you familiar with a thunderbird?
There are. So when the whole Mothman thing happened, people talked about it maybe being a thunderbird. Fun fact.
I don't know, because I feel like Mothman is way smaller than that. Because a Thunderbird is supposed to have like a 40-foot wingspan or some fucking thing.
I think Mothman's smaller than that too.
Yeah.
But they also, the people who refuse to believe in Mothman say that it was a crane, like this one type of crane that does have red eyes and is pretty big. But everyone who saw it said it was bigger than that. But also, I don't trust eyewitness accounts.
Well, especially because if we're going under the assumption that West Virginia is this fucking redneck ass.
No, that's not the assumption.
Why is that not the assumption?
Because I feel like it's not.
I feel like West Virginia is pretty redneck. Of all the places to be redneck, I feel like that whole little clump. Because look, you got fucking. I think what's 27?
Is that Tennessee?
That's Kentucky.
At Tennessee?
There's Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, all in that little clump. Those are some pretty yeehaw states.
Yeah, so at least there's some periphery of redneck, if not.
So you don't think it's quite seeped into the mountains of West Virginia?
I don't. I think they're too north. And you don't know where Point Pleasant is in North Virginia. What if it's like the northmost tip?
I assume it's where this little dot is on our map, which means it's like center south.
It's by Indiana.
Which the fuck one of these is Indiana? Is that
right above it?
20?
I don't know. What's 20? Sure.
20 is Ohio, apparently. Where is
it's
Indiana?
4.
Where?
4.
Oh, so like kind of.
Indiana.
Huh.
I know, Nick. I played the states game. I fill in those blanks.
Yeah.
So. But Thunderbirds.
That's like a 6 or a 7.
For real.
Because that's big enough that you shoot it and it's like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna eat you now.
Yeah, that's just a dragon, but a bird.
Bird dragon.
Bird dragon. Or what's the Pokemon that's a bird but electro?
Are you talking about Zapdos?
Yeah, is it Zapdos?
I guess all of the legendary birds, because you have Zapdos,
Articuno,
Moltres, and
no, Articuno is a
bird.
Really?
Yeah, it's the blue one.
Oh, okay, I was right.
What did you think it was?
I thought it was the blue dog one.
No, that's Suicune.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Fake Pokemon fan.
So, yeah, no, Thunderbird, we're screwed.
Thunderbird is, so yeah, are we agreeing, 7?
Yeah, 7. I would agree with 7.
We said something earlier was like a solid 8, like just right off the bat.
Oh, I don't remember.
You guys can listen at home, go back and listen to the bullshit that we're spouting and not remembering spouting. What else do we have on here? Jersey Devil is a popular one. Let's see. All it says is carnivorous beast on this map that we're looking at, so I'm going to go ahead and describe it to you. Basically a horse with a Satan tail, right? Like the really skinny tail with like a little tuft of fur at the end. And big giant bat wings and what look like potentially horns.
Yes, horns.
But carnivorous horse that can fly. That's pretty high up there.
That's like Mothman, but way worse.
Because it's by default malevolent.
Right. You know that it's
or
here
at
to
least
fuck you
not
or
malevolent,
shit.
but hungry.
Yeah. carnivorous.
So
horse.
if Mothman is a 5, then Jersey Devils default to a 6.
Yeah, at least.
Because you've seen how big a horse is.
Yeah, especially those huge ones.
Oh, you're talking about the big, like, mountain Clydesdales, yeah. I don't know. This thing's pretty skinny. This feels like a pretty emaciated horse, but like a regular Mustang, you know?
Yeah, okay.
Which still is... Its head upright is probably like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, I don't know. They measure it in hands, so we may never know.
Why hands and stones? Like, why...
Yeah.
You never heard that?
Not stones, but hands for sure.
So hands is height, right?
Right.
Which also, a hand is not...
It's not...
a consistent unit of measurement.
Because if you hold your hand up to Shaq's hand, the likelihood of it being the same size is small.
I've seen that man hold a water bottle like a teacup.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen.
He's 7'1", did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He's pretty tall.
He's bigger than my roommate.
Yeah. And your roommate's 6'8".
It's a large man. He does not fit in any of the doorways in our home.
Nah, man, that's a life of ducking.
That is a life of ducking.
It's rough.
It really is. It's a real rough life. Any other ones you want to talk about? Like, the other famous ones out here are like Chupacabra. Which
you could frickin' punt. That's just a coyote that likes blood. You kick it.
You like the dog imagery of the Chupacabra.
Yeah. Everyone is like, look at it. It looks like an alien. Or have you seen this?
Yeah, where it's like the little weird sucker monster.
Yeah. I'm like, it's just a dog.
I feel it's at least quadrupedal.
Yeah.
I don't know if dog...
Well, the thing is
well, the whole thing
I
with
did
the dogs
research.
Yes.
In 6th grade, I did a report on chupacabras, which was a long time ago.
Lainey, the 6th grade scientist, is here to tell you about the anatomy of a chupacabra.
No, not the anatomy. I'm just saying that the legend came up. Okay, maybe they exist, blah, 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 whatever.
What state are we placing the chupacabra in before we continue?
I don't know.
Because really,
what does it say?
It's listed as...
I would go for New Mexico, Texas.
Yeah, it says Texas is what it says on here. But I also feel like New Mexico or Arizona.
Yeah, just those 3.
I mean, really, it's a Mexican, cryptid. But
Chupacabra.
So any of those southwestern states.
Doesn't cabra mean sheep in Spanish or something?
Like a sheep sucker?
Yeah.
I don't know, probably.
I think so. I think I learned that the other day in Spanish.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, but that might be fake. Sorry to those Spanish speakers out
there.
We
will continue on this podcast to make wild claims for which we have no basis, and you will be forced to believe them. Or send us an email later in the podcast and correct us, and we will throw your emails in the trash.
But the people who don't believe in the chupacabra claim that dogs with mange were the main visual.
I believe it.
First chupacabras, which are just stray dogs with a disease.
Well, because have you seen that shit?
Right, it's scary.
It's spooky, yeah. Like if I saw that walking down the street at night, I'd be,
and then all the sheep and they're like, there's 3 puncture holes in this sheep, and its blood is gone.
I don't feel like you could find a sheep and all of its blood is gone.
Yeah, that's some serial killer stuff.
Because even based off the size of a chupacabra, which we're assuming like coyote, right? Because if it was bigger, it would just eat the sheep.
Well, unless it's a vampire type situation. What if it only wants the blood?
But the size of a coyote size cannot consume that much blood. That's like... Can I search on the internet how much blood is in a sheep? Am I gonna?
No.
It's gonna put me on
You're not gonna.
It's gonna put me on a list, but I'm gonna do it. I mean, we're already on probably several lists, not just from this podcast, from just being the people that we are.
I guess you're right, but I think that the only advantage that a chupacabra might have is that it's fast.
That's fair.
I feel like it doesn't have anything else.
According to a wiki user on answers.com, there are 4 gallons of blood in a sheep.
Interesting. Incredible.
The average sheep, excuse me. Another user contends, oh no, that's in your body, but your spelled Y-O-R-E, as in the tails of your.
My favorite time period.
Yeah, it's really, so apparently sheep have almost triple the amount of blood that we do, which makes me feel inferior to the sheep for having less blood.
Kind of makes me feel fake. But...
But then why does the sheep die? Because how much blood can you lose before you just can't? It's got to be like a quarter.
I feel like it's more than that.
Because this wiki user on Answers.com said that humans have 1.5 gallons of blood in them. And that doesn't feel like enough.
No, it doesn't. Well, we can't believe wiki users.
I don't know. He spelled your like a cool guy. So I feel like there's something there maybe.
Well.
Because how much blood do you donate? Like a bag of blood
8
is
ounces?
like... 8, is that it? I thought it was like a liter.
No, I don't think so.
Because now that I'm saying that, I'm picturing like a liter water bottle, and that feels like a lot to take out of your body.
it's just like a bag, like
a pouch.
Yeah, like
they cannot see you gesture with your hands. You got to figure out like the size to tell them.
It's the shape. It's almost the shape of a Capri Sun, but it's bigger than that. But not by much.
I'm just picturing
like a TI-84 calculator.
But how wide? Like the same size as one?
Yeah, but
that feels like a reasonable amount.
Maybe a little bit bigger.
Like thicker, like the bottom of a Capri Sun.
Yeah.
How many Capri Suns of blood have you donated today?
Okay.
I'm just picturing like a vampire with a Capri Sun, but it's got the clear back on it, and so you could just see that it's blood instead of Capri Sun.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, but chupacabras.
Chupacabras.
If a bear is a 3, a chupacabra is a 2. In my mind, personally.
Well, because yeah. Because what? It just tries to suck your blood, so it can't do damage outside. I mean, it probably has claws.
Probably has claws.
Well, I feel like the bite is almost like a lamprey. You know a lamprey?
I've heard of it.
Where it's like a sucker mouth, but it's teeth.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what I kind of
like a leech.
Yeah, like a leech, right?
Yeah.
So if it has a leech mouth, it can't like chunk out of your arm.
Leech dog.
Leech dog.
Yep.
So it's just gonna bite on you, and it'll do damage. It'll hurt.
Yeah, it'll hurt. You'll
But
probably bleed a little bit.
You'll probably. I mean.
What if that sends it into like feral mode?
But then what does it do? Suck harder? Like.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if it has claws.
Just catch it.
They're not like raptor claws. They're like dog claws.
Right, which are. It's like getting attacked by a dog.
But it can't bite. It can only suck.
And I think it's a little faster than a dog because I feel like
what is this basis of speed that you feel like a chupacabra
in my mind,
has?
I'm picturing a chupacabra running around me and just like boom, boom, like it's
it's
there,
zipping like Pikachu, like
yeah, exactly, totally.
All right, interesting.
So I'm giving it a 2.
So you feel like you'd as soon fight a single water baby as you would fight a chupacabra?
Yeah.
Because I would rather fight the single water baby than a chupacabra.
Well, yeah, me too, but...
But didn't we say like a bear is a default 3?
Yeah, if a bear's a 3, then chupacabra's a 2.
Because what else did we say is a 4? Because I feel like a bear is not a 3. Like, I feel like we need to move a bear
I
up.
said that Sasquatch/Bigfoot was a 4. And, well, yeah, then bear might be... But Godzilla's a 10.
Yeah.
Which is like... I feel like one jump is huge in my head.
So, bear, 3.5.
Okay.
Chupacabra, 3.
3. Yeah.
Water baby, 2.
Cool.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, I mean, there's one on here that looks like it's just a giant snapping turtle, which is scary. And like a regular snapping turtle, like an alligator snapping turtle, will just take your hand. Mm-hmm. You know.
That's your hand.
So a giant one.
You won't die.
I mean, you might from like shock and shit.
Yeah.
But like a giant one of those can mean like half of your leg.
That's true.
Which is just basically instant death, especially if you're like swimming. Or it'll just grab you and pull you underwater, which then you drown and it eats you.
I agree. But I think that's like you know what? I could put it at the same place as a bear then.
Really?
3.5. Yeah, because
it's a very different style. It's because it's slow, right? So it's an ambush
not
predator.
in water though, right?
Sure they are. I mean, they're still tanky. They can't swim like a fish.
We're slow in water. We're pretty slow in water.
Yeah.
Especially those of us who aren't pro swimmers.
Yeah. Those of us who are not a Michael Phelps. Or what's the
or
other
dad.
one? Yes, our father did swim in high school, is what my sister is referring to. He is no longer a professional swimmer.
He went to state for butterfly. That's the hardest shit. I don't know how he did in state.
Why are you trying to talk up dad on the podcast?
I'm just proud of his swimming achievements.
That's fair. That's reasonable.
Yeah, and now we can swim.
We, not in any special capacity, but we both can swim.
I mean, we're certified scuba divers. And,
That's true. But that's underwater, which I feel like gives that what is this thing called? The Beast of Busco. Is a giant snapping turtle.
Is that the one from Indiana?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
From Churubusco, Indiana.
Shout out our mom's friend from Indiana.
Sure.
That's the reason I remember that state exists, so.
Alright. I feel like if you don't know a person from a state, then it probably doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, I know people...
Vermont absolutely does not exist.
I literally can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
The only state that starts with a D. I want to say Detroit, and I know that's wrong.
Dakota.
No. Because that's North and South Dakota. Up in the northwest. Northeast.
I was going to say Detroit, too.
It's not Detroit. What is it?
Delaware.
There you go. Delaware does not exist.
I did a report on it, so...
I feel like I also did a report on something up there.
In middle school.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that was lit. So I know it exists because of that, because of my report.
What else is on here? Like, I don't know what that is. We're looking
Oklahoma.
No, that's Oklahoma. Above Texas. What is that?
Yeah. Right next to it?
We're currently looking at the state above Louisiana.
I think that's Kansas. No, that's Arkansas.
No, that's Arkansas, because that's Georgia.
I can't tell what you're pointing at. It doesn't matter.
The one that looks like a meat cleaver, but backwards.
That's Louisiana. It's in the shape of an L.
No, that's Louisiana. Then there's that, which is Arkansas. Then there's that, which is Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia.
So what is that?
I still don't know what you're pointing at. Doesn't matter.
All right.
It doesn't exist.
For those of you wondering, the state above Louisiana is... It is Arkansas.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I told you, I played that states game. You need to believe me.
Then what the hell is the other one?
What is what other
the one?
one?
On the
Above
backside
it?
No, the one on the backside of Georgia.
I think it goes Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama.
Mississippi. Is it? Well, there's no cryptids from Mississippi apparently. So Georgia Bama.
Jeremy Wade from River Monsters probably has been to Mississippi.
That's probably true.
Mississippi
to catch a big
River.
catfish or something.
Yeah.
There's bigger catfish down south though.
So, I think that kind of
you think that covers
concludes it.
There's one of these that just says Big Bird and is just a picture of a pterodactyl.
I mean, Big Bird, I feel like could get really violent. The one from Sesame Street.
That's true. Well, I've seen him kick the door down. We've all seen that meme.
Yeah. Fucking.
You know, he was a slave driver for a while in the 1800s.
That's his canon history.
Have you seen the videos or images of Big Bird riding in the carriage and he has the fucking slave driver whip in his hand?
No.
It's a real picture that exists.
No.
Yeah. Or the one where it's like all the kids running in a field.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
It's like the kids are fast, but Big Bird is faster.
Yeah, and it's like it says like 18 something, and it's like that's not the year. That's
his kill count.
Okay. Well,
Big Bird confirmed cannibal. Not cannibal, predator. There we go. Probably a cannibal too.
Well, so that's the talk of cryptids. Let us know what you think and how well your state would do in
against your cryptids.
Yeah, and let us know if we totally got it wrong. If I'm over here spouting about Mothman, and I just totally was not right, just call me out.
If you think Bigfoot is a 9, you're wrong, but I want to hear you defend it.
Yeah, please defend your favorite cryptids. If me bagging on a chupacabra really grinds your gears, let us know.
Excellent. Now, on normally what would be the next section of the podcast, we would like to answer those burning questions of if Big Bird was a slave driver. If you have also watched Midnight Gospel and have walked away confused.
If you've done a 6th grade report on a chupacabra, but found, yeah, they totally do exist and look like aliens.
The only thing I remember from middle school, really, besides our science teacher blowing up bottle rockets in class.
That was lit.
Was in my history class, or whatever, social studies they call it, because it's not history yet. We had to do a report on, not a report, like a project on a natural disaster and make some kind of diorama or something. And I made one of a tornado, because I was like, tornadoes are cool, right? And I made it, and I got a C. And not like a good C, not like a 79, like a 74. And another kid in class made also a tornado, But it was one of those where it looked like the dad had helped. Because there were like lights inside the tornado that was made out of cotton balls. And so it was way too... And got like an A. And I was offended. Deeply.
I lost a statewide history contest because some parents helped their kids on their project. And it was confirmed because one of our friends went to school with them and knew that their parents helped. And we got second place to them and couldn't go to Washington, D.C. So if your parents ever helped you in a project, perish.
You're scum. You don't deserve rights.
Just take the C and move on.
That